All right, I'm going to go ahead and call the City Commission meeting to order. Please stand if you're able and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, well, good evening, everyone. We will go ahead and get started with roll call.
Benson? Here. Brunick?
Here.
Hanoff?
Here.
Johnson?
Present.
Minor? Schramm? Villanueva?
Present.
Weber?
Here.
Mayor Mosier?
Here.
City Manager Leon?
Here.
City Attorney Denherter?
Here.
And City Finance Officer Alvierick.
Present.
All right, number 2 under routine business is to approve the minutes of the work session meeting of November 27, 2023, and the regular meeting of November 27, 2023. And before I ask for the pleasure of the commission, I understand Commissioner Hanoff has a few corrections.
Yes, in the regular meeting minutes, number 1, the date of the meeting is incorrect in the header. It should say November 27th, and it says November 13th. Number 2, the minutes don't mention the correction of the wording of a motion from the November 13th meeting. Some of you may recall we discussed. And that was Commissioner Johnson making a motion to observe Indigenous Peoples Day for the next 2 years, when the actual motion was to observe Native American Day for the next 2 years. And that correction was not included in the action to approve the minutes. And also, these minutes have Commissioner Villanueva moving to go into executive session to discuss contractual litigation and personnel matters. And his actual motion was only to enter executive session to discuss personnel matters. So that should be reflected in the corrections as well. So I would move to approve the minutes of the work session and the regular meeting with those 3 corrections to be listed in the motion.
Excuse me if I could interrupt for just a second. I went back and listened to the minutes of November 13th, and Mr. Johnson clearly calls it Indigenous Peoples Day. And I'll send that to you, so I did not correct those
I have
minutes.
watched it, but I'll watch it again, but
Please do. I'll send it to all commissioners tomorrow, and I've got the time where you can pick it up right at the motion.
okay.
So, and again, if I'm wrong, I stand
No,
corrected.
same
I
back
listened
action.
to both the city one and the YouTube meeting.
Yeah, I'll listen again too. I've been wrong before, but I thought I recalled him saying Native American Day, and that's a very South Dakota specific term. So that's why I thought it was important to use that.
I wish I had a better memory so I could tell you for sure what I said.
I mean, we can look it up right now, actually.
It's all right. All right. So we'll make sure either through looking or that it does say Indigenous Peoples Day along with the other corrections that were mentioned. We have a
Right.
motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other comments on the minutes? Anybody in the public? All those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. And anybody abstaining? All right. Minutes passed. Number 3, under routine business is schedule of bills. What is the commission pleasure? Move to pay the bills.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any commission discussion on the bills? Anybody in the public? Roll call.
Villanueva?
Aye.
Weber?
Aye.
Benson?
Aye.
Brunick?
Aye.
Hanoff?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
Mayor Mosier?
Aye. Motion carries. Number 4 under routine business is the city manager's report. So I will turn it over to City Manager Leon.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, members of the commission, public. Just a couple things for you this evening. Under your consent items this evening, you have an item number 2, renewal of private collector of refuse licenses for 2024. We do have one that did not make that list this time, so that will be a consent calendar item again. We'll ask that you act on these. And there's no issue with that provider, but it just didn't make the schedule here. So we'll have that one on the 21st at your last meeting of the year, which again, to remind you, is at noon here on Thursday, December 21st at noon. We have belief that we'll have a quorum here, and we're trying to keep the agenda very minimal, but there will be an additional refuse collector license for you to consider. Also want to everyone to be aware of the change in the solid waste and recycling schedule for December 25th, as well as January 1st. Those are both Mondays. As holidays, they won't be collected on Monday. So Monday on the 25th and 26th will be collected, or 25th and 1st will be collected on Tuesday, the 26th, and January 2nd. I mentioned to the commission last week that I want to visit with the tree board. The tree board is our Parks and Recreation Board, about a number of dangerous trees in public places, so in our park system along our trails, and talk to them to be able to have a recommendation regarding removal of those trees. We have not used the Parks Board in that fashion as the tree board, except for when it comes to the Tree City application. But I will be visiting with them here in January about a number of trees identified and then getting some recommendations from the Parks Board on that. With that, I also would like to give Lisa just a moment. She has an important introduction.
Yes, I'd like to introduce Rael Hummel. She is our new Deputy Finance Officer. So we're pleased to have her. She's been with us for a week already, and she came back, so that's a good sign. So we're really excited to have her on board.
If you'd like to.
Would you like to come up and speak, Rael?
Hi, thanks for the introduction. Yeah, recently moved back to Yankton, so I'm really excited to be part of the community and to be part of a great team. So excited to work with everyone.
Rael, remind us again, where are you from and kind of how did you come about getting here?
Right. I'm originally from Cody, Wyoming. Born and raised there. I went to college at USD in Vermilion. My husband is from the Yankton area, so we lived in Wyoming for a few years, and now we're back. So.
Awesome. Anybody else on the commission? Not that you have to be interviewed, obviously, because you already are hired. Go ahead, Commissioner Villanueva.
Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, happy to have you back. Thanks for joining the city staff, and we'll look forward to working with you more in the future.
Right. Thank you.
Yes.
I don't have anything further, Mayor.
Amy, I do have one thing. I think it was notated on Friday when we did our media review that I thought was really, really cool. And I think there was an article then in the paper on Saturday about a swearing-in ceremony that you went to on Friday. Maybe you could fill in the commissioners about the specialness, is that a word? It is now, I made it up, if not, of that swearing-in ceremony and a few details behind some city employees who took some initiative to get creative.
Sure, and if I get this wrong, maybe our HR director and our police chief will help me out. On Friday, we swore in two officers, Tanner and Austin Reining, and I forget Tanner's last name, excuse me. Tanner Schaefer and Austin Reining. And Tanner comes to us via Minnesota, I believe Paynesville. However, through the Navy with a program called Skill Bridge program, which allows him to complete his military service actually while he is working for us here at the City of Yankton. And that is a program that Colleen Bailey, who you heard a lot about last week, has worked on and figured out how to find a path through. So he has come to us and was sworn in on Friday morning. Mr. Reining is a Yankton a Yankton guy. He grew up in Yankton, I believe, and he came to us. He's also serves on our volunteer fire department, so he was also sworn in. So we're excited. We are still hiring, however, so and we're going to talk a little bit more about police hires later on in your agenda. But yes, very special to be there when they're sworn in. They talk about upholding, the Constitution of the U.S., the Constitution of the state of South Dakota, and all local laws. And so that's kind of a neat thing. Their families come, and we get a chance to visit with them as well.
Well, I think it's great how creative you got in looking for officers and finding the program of somebody that has the military experience and being able to combo that in with their military experience with being their education for a police officer, or how that works together. So kudos to those at the city that pulled that together and figured out that program.
Yes, it's our HR department. They're doing all sorts of good stuff.
Well, sometimes when the job tasks or jobs there's a shortage, you have to get a little creative. So appreciate you doing that. I know, like we said, we're going to talk about another unique, creative way to look at that later tonight. And so appreciate everybody thinking outside the box to find good city employees. Are there any questions from the commission for the city manager? All right, mine was the...
Mayor Moser, I do have, I guess it's a research request, could be for the HR department, but I know we have we have to decide the adjustment to the finance officer, city attorney, and city manager next month. And I'd be interested to have some kind of comparison of maybe the 10 to 15 biggest cities for those three positions to see where we rank right now. I know not every city has a city manager, so in that case, I guess whoever their chief executive officer, whether it be a full-time mayor or whatever the title might be.
Sure, we can put that together for the commission. I think we actually have kind of a rolling one that we'll make sure it's updated and get it to you all.
Yeah, I know for sure. I believe that was sent out to the commission either last year or the year before, but probably is due to be updated if it's been 2 years. But I know we've shared that before in the past. Any other questions? All right, then we'll move on in our agenda to public appearances. This is the time and the place for those to appear in front of the commission on something not on the agenda tonight. All right, seeing no movement, then we'll move on to the consent agenda. Number 1 is consideration of memorandum 23-241, recommending the approval of the 2024 mobile home park licenses in the city of Yankton. 2 is consideration of memorandum 23-249, recommending approval of the renewal of applications for private collector of refuse licenses for the year 2024, which will be January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024 licensing period, with the understanding that one will come in front of the commission then on our 21st meeting. Number 3 is consideration of memorandum 23-250, recommending approval of the renewal of applications for the 2024 city dance licenses. Number 4 is to establish January 8th, 2024 as the date for a public hearing on the request for a special events retail on-sale liquor license for one day, January 20th, 2024, from Hanton Inc., Ben Hanton, President, doing business as Ben's Brewing Company at 222 West 3rd for the NFAA at 800 Archery Lane. And number 5 is to establish January 8th, 2024 as the date for the public hearing of the request for a special events on-sale liquor license for one day, February 10th, 2024, from Hanton Inc., Ben Hanton, President, doing business as Ben's Brewing Company at 222 West 3rd Street for the NFA located at 800 Archery Lane. What is your pleasure?
Move to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion from the commission on the consent agenda?
Mayor Moser, I
Yeah.
would like to point out that for the second item, renewal of private collector of refuse, we did have a late application. We are missing one
Yeah,
private
Amy
collector.
brought that up during her update.
So just a heads up.
Yep. Yep.
That is that item.
Yep. Thank you for the clarification. We have a motion and a second. Anything else is tied to the consent agenda? All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Anybody abstaining? All right, consent agenda passes. Moving on to old business then, number 1 is consideration of memorandum 23-245, recommending approval of the proposed ordinance, number 1076, an ordinance modifying the limits on video lottery establishments within Yankton's jurisdictional city limits. And before I ask for the pleasure of the commission, I'll have Ross walk us through again what is in the agenda. I know we've talked about it several times, but always good to go back to getting through it and looking at it.
You bet. Okay, so a little bit of quick history. At the end of this last summer, we had a citizen request that the commission look at potentially increasing or modifying the limits on the cap that is set in ordinance on video lottery establishments. That resulted in a lot of staff work behind the scenes, and ultimately, in that process, we discovered that our old ordinance does not properly comply with the law as written. So we made an effort to clean up what is currently on our books, and what you see before you is the product of that work. Essentially, there are 2 subsections in existing ordinance 3-3 that will be eliminated. That'd be subsections C and D. Those were restrictions on the transfer of licenses that held video lottery endorsements. The state statute does not allow a municipality to limit endorsements does not allow municipalities to limit transfers for video lottery endorsed alcohol licenses. So those restrictions have been removed. Also, the cap has been downward adjusted to match the current outstanding number of video lottery endorsements attached to retail malt beverage or retail wine licenses only. So if this ordinance were passed as you see it today, the new cap would be 34, and there would no longer be any opportunity for holders of retail liquor licenses to be able to peel their licenses, their video lottery endorsement off of their liquor and attach it to a retail malt beverage or wine license, because the net effect would be to create another retail malt beverage or retail wine license with a video lottery endorsement. So effectively, this will cap the current number that are out there. Although there is, I think, at least 2 or 3 licenses still out there that do not have let me rephrase that. There's at least 2 or 3 retail liquor on sale licenses that do not have video lottery turned on, that are not restricted with a contractual arrangement that prevents the holder of those licenses from turning video lottery on. So there's still an opportunity for at least 30 or 40 potentially more machines to be added through those licenses. But the city commission does not have the authority to prevent the holders of those licenses from turning video lottery on, essentially associated with those retail on sale liquor licenses. Does the commission have any questions at this time? I think everybody's got a little bit of video lottery fatigue here. Okay.
Thank you for walking us through that, Ross. I know we discussed it a little bit at our last meeting too, so we've heard about it a couple of times. So with that, I would ask, what's the pleasure of the commission?
Move that we approve the ordinance.
Second. We do have a motion and a second, and now being that we have a motion and a second, is there any commission discussion on this?
I've got a number of things that I'd like to say about this. It's been a really frustrating course of steps of actions going through this ordinance. It's seemed like at every turn what we thought was the case turned out not to be the case, and then what we thought was the case turned out not to be the case. It's just been a frustrating system, and I'm having a tough time voting for the ordinance as it stands. We haven't done anything as far as raising a cap. We have raised the cap, but through people that are in the system that have licenses currently. They've gotten additional licenses through technicalities, through the way that the licenses were filed, if they had a liquor license, but they had Lotto turned on under a malt beverage license. Then they, in addition to that Lotto license, they got a liquor license, because we found out that we don't have control over a liquor license. It's the ordinance has seemed like I understand the spirit of the ordinance, and that's what I've tried to work within. At the last meeting, however, we approved the movement of a license from a liquor license to basically the sale of a decoupling. But then we found out in 2015 that decoupling had already occurred. So we allowed the sale of a license that had already been sold. And that was just out of not keeping track of that is what it was. So we've given licenses, and we've done this towards, this special interest group, for lack of a better term, that owns licenses currently. And I just think that we need to have some way of allowing further licenses based off of our population. I also think that we should look at the possibility. We're speaking of a cap on licenses. I think we should look at a cap of how many licenses one entity can have, and maybe how many licenses one entity, like one business, can have. If we're talking about caps and regulating, I think it's important that we do some of this regulating, and I don't see this in this current ordinance currently.
Anybody else on the commission? Anybody in the public want to address the commission? All right. Seeing no movement from the public or any other commission discussion, roll call.
Weber.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Brunick.
No.
Hanoff.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Villanueva.
Aye.
Mayor Mosher.
Aye, motion carries. Number 2, under old business is memorandum, looking at memorandum 23-225, supporting ordinance 1075, a second supplement to the ordinance 1064 of the 2023 annual appropriation ordinance, and the second reading and public hearing of said ordinance. What is your pleasure?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any commission discussion? Anybody in the public? Roll call.
Benson.
Aye.
Brunick.
Aye.
Hanoff.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Villanueva.
Aye.
Weber.
Aye.
Mayor Mosher.
Aye, motion carries. Moving on to new business. Number 1 is consideration of memorandum 23-244, recommending that the city commission acknowledge the hiring of Rael Hummel as the deputy finance officer and authorizing Ms. Hummel as a signatory on banking documents and other records as required by her duties. What is your pleasure?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any commission discussion on this? Anybody in the public? Roll call.
Brunick.
Aye.
Hanoff.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Villanueva.
Aye.
Weber.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Mayor Mosher.
Aye, motion carries. It's a good thing, right? You said, we welcomed you, and then, right, no, I'm just teasing. I do want to just take a quick moment to update the public then, since this motion did go through, in where we're at, as we've been transparent with what's going on in the finance department. So I want to let the public and folks know that the commission has officially accepted Al's resignation of February 23rd, 2024. So we're working with him on that. Al's last day in the office will be December 29th, 2023. Following that date, he will then continue as an advisor. During this transition, as folks know, Al holds a lot of historical knowledge and a lot of knowledge in finance in general that cannot be transferred very quickly. And so we're looking forward to working with him in January and February as we make sure that that transition is as smooth as possible. So thank you, Al, for being so considerate with the commission and with this transition to make sure that we're able to do that as smoothly as possible so that citizens of our community, city staff, and others it smoothly transfers over. We also need to learn how to plant those money trees. So I'm hoping you haven't forgot about leaving those little secret seeds somewhere in the office. So, but we can talk about that as well. So just wanted to update the public on where we're at in this transition. So Al, as we all know and are struggling to accept, there is going to be a day in the city hall without Al, but we'll make the most of it while he's still here with us. So thank you for that. Number 2 under new business then is consideration of memorandum 23-230, recommending approval of resolution 23-68, which revises the personnel manual with updates not pertaining to the collective bargaining agreement. Amy, anything you want to walk through here before I ask for the pleasure of the commission?
I think the major change here is that we are omitting the word police department when it comes to shift differential. That probably wasn't the right wording to begin with because we did have shift differentials in dispatch. We'd like to include a weekend pay as a shift differential, so not just evenings, but also weekends. As our time card system operates, we consider a weekend 12 a.m. Saturday morning to 11:59 Sunday evening, so an additional hour of pay to the regular base hourly related pay during the entire duration of those weekend hours. We also have a change to what we will reimburse in terms of prescription safety glasses. We haven't changed that in a number of years, and we talked through that with our safety committee of making that a little bit higher to $200 for those that require the safety glasses with prescription in them. Also, we would like to limit the amount of a tip that people can give on their procurement card when they're traveling to 20%, just to make sure that we're not being overly generous there. And if folks want to do something else on their own above that, they sure can, but just trying to be a good steward there. And then something that we did not include in our drug and alcohol policy when we updated it were the words, including when on call. So we have a number of employees who are on call and being paid for being on call, and so we want to make sure that people understand that the regulations apply while they're also on call. So happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, Brittany Orr is here. She did work with Ross on the changes to the personnel policy manual, and we recommend approval.
Thank you for walking through that. Any questions of the commission? If not, what is your pleasure?
Move to approve.
Second?
We do have a motion and a second. Is there any commission discussion? Anybody in the public? Roll call.
Hanoff.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Villanueva.
Aye.
Weber.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Brunick.
Aye.
Mayor Mosher.
Aye, motion carries. Number 3 under new business is consideration of memorandum 23-226, recommending that the city commission accept the sewer and street improvements for Phase B of the Westbrook Estates residential subdivision as detailed in memorandum 22-226. What is your pleasure?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any commission discussion? Anybody in the public? Roll call.
Johnson.
Aye.
Villanueva.
Aye.
Weber.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Brunick.
Aye.
Hunoff.
Aye.
Mayor Mosher.
Aye. Motion carries. Number 4 under new business is consideration of memorandum 23-229, recommending that the city commission approve change order number 1, accept the completed construction project along Elm Street, and authorize the finance officer to issue a manual check to Katzer Concrete, Inc. in the amount of $120,879.71. What is your pleasure?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any commission discussion? Anybody in the public? Roll call.
Villanueva.
Aye.
Weber.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Brunick.
Aye.
Hunoff.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Mayor Mosher.
Aye, motion carries. Number 5 under new business is consideration of memorandum 23-243 regarding a bid award for the 2024 annual supply of transport tank wagon petroleum products for the Chan-Gurney Municipal Airport. You will notice in your commission packet there were no bids received for that this year, but the staff were able to negotiate a price with Gerstner Oil, which is in front of you this evening. What is your pleasure?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any commission discussion on this? Anybody in the public? Roll call.
Weber.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Brunick.
Aye.
Hunoff.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Villanueva.
Aye.
Mayor Mosher.
Aye, motion carries. Number 6 is consideration of memorandum 23-247, recommending the purchase of 3 new international trucks for the Department of Public Works Street Division from North Central International of Sioux Falls, Inc., of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, based on the Sourcewell contract, with the amount not to exceed the 2023 and 2024 adopted budgets. I know, before I asked for the pleasure of the commission, in our packet, it did say we were consulting with a business in town. Adam, do you have any updates on that before we make a formal motion? If not, we can as moving forward, but.
We did receive final quotes. A 6x6, there's one 6x6 quoted. That's came in at $149,876. And then we had 2 6x4 trucks, and those each came in at $125,589. They're both, all 3 of those trucks are within our planned budget amounts, and we'll also be advertising for bids soon for dump bodies for those trucks, which the last time we purchased those were around the mid 30,000s. So we feel we're sitting good with the budgeted amounts we have and these quotes that came in.
Any of those quotes from a local business? I know in the commission packet, it did say we were going to check that.
These are from our local international
Okay.
supplier in Sioux Falls, yes.
Okay.
And all 3 of these trucks are used throughout the entire year, snow removal, general construction, so.
Oh, perfect. Yep. I was thinking of the future when they're coming up. All right. Thank you for clarifying that. Any other questions on that? If not, what's the pleasure of the commission?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any commission discussion? Anybody in the public? Roll call.
Benson.
Aye.
Brunick.
Aye.
Hunoff.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Villanueva.
Aye.
Weber.
Aye.
Mayor Mosher.
Aye, motion carries. Number 7 is consideration of memorandum 23-248, recommending that the city commission approve and authorize the city manager to sign change order number 2, final payment estimate number 6, final, and then the final review and acceptance form for the completed North Hangar taxi line and runway 20 turnaround project, and authorize the finance officer to issue a manual check to Double H Paving, Inc. in the amount of $12,234.53. What is your pleasure?
Move to approve.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Is there any commission discussion? Anybody in the public? Roll call.
Brunick,
Aye.
Hunoff,
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Villanueva,
Aye.
Weber,
Aye.
Benson,
Aye.
Mayor Mosher.
Aye, motion carries. Number 8 is consideration of memorandum 23-242, recommending approval of the purchase of a 2024 Ford F-350 truck and upgrades for the Parks and Rec Department at the cost of $57,201. This is the one I was thinking of. This is from Lamb Motors, but there was going to be a consideration in the commission packet of checking with a local dealership. Were we able to verify if that works, or?
I do not believe if we've heard anything back from Lewis and Clark Ford. No, we have not heard anything back from Lewis and Clark Ford. However, if they will match the bid, we'll certainly buy it locally.
Perfect, thank you for clarifying that. What is the pleasure of the commission?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any commission discussion on that?
Real quick, just so I understand. So if Lewis and Clark Ford matches this bid, we're going to buy it from Lewis and Clark Ford, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, just making sure. Thanks.
Any other commission questions? Anybody in the public? Roll call.
Hunoff,
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Villanueva,
Aye.
Weber,
Aye.
Benson,
Aye.
Brunick,
Aye.
Mayor Mosher.
Aye, motion carries. Number 9 under new business is consideration of memorandum 23-246, recommending approval of incorporating the Build Dakota Scholarship Program into the City of Yankton Police Department recruitment strategy by providing $10,000 toward law enforcement recruitment for the 24-25 academic year, and adding a new line item in the 2025 city budget for the Build Dakota Scholarship in the amount of $10,000. Before I ask for the pleasure of the commission, I'm going to ask City Manager Leon to walk us through what's in front of us tonight.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, members of the commission. Some of you may be familiar with the Build Dakota Scholarship. This was started a number of years ago where an employer, through a partnership with one of our in-state tech schools, works jointly to provide assistance to a student going through the technical program. The relationship then requires the student to work for that employer who helps fulfill that tuition scholarship for a minimum of 3 years. So a lot of folks are taking advantage of this. I happen to know some young people that are pursuing degrees in as electricians, as well as precision agriculture, folks that are pursuing that, and they already have their tuition paid for then and plans for staying and working in the state. Chief Foote brought this concept up to me because a number of our technical schools do have criminal justice as part of their program. And he said, could we use this in this fashion? And I said, well, I don't know. I guess if the Build Dakota Scholarship would admit that degree as part of their program, then of course, yes. And so he was successful in getting them to authorize that. And we actually have somebody, a student in mind to participate in this program. This is not budgeted because we did not think of this or know this to be an opportunity when we put together our budget. But we feel that it's a really good way to utilize the program and a pretty small investment considering the efforts we make towards recruitment for law enforcement in particularly. So we're excited about this, and we hope the commission is too. We'd like to try it with a student, and if it works out, continue to use it as part of our recruitment strategy for law enforcement professionals.
Quick question I have on that is kind of what this timeline looks like. I mean, I think it's a great deal. As somebody that's had almost 30 years, because I started when I was 5 in higher education, I've seen this program from the grassroots, and so I love what the Build Dakota Scholarship Program is doing to connect students in our state with high needs jobs like this. So my question is not that. I'm in full support of this, but the timeline of this, when you look at if they go to a 2-year technical school and get their 2-year degree, is there still an age requirement on the police academy? And if that's the case, then you technically could have a 20-year-old graduating, and then how does that look until they can go to the police academy? Or how does this whole timeline go together, if that makes sense?
Yeah, so age does matter. The Commission for the Law Enforcement Standards has been looking at that, making that change, so that if they have a degree out of one of the technical schools, that they could be employed. I have not heard if they made that change yet or not. Our candidate right now actually would not be 21 for, I think it was 3 months or a month and a half, something like that. Not too long after he would graduate, he would turn 21. One of the other benefits of technical school and the programs that they have is they actually don't have to go to the academy if they pass reciprocity tests. So the LET, the state of South Dakota, recognizes these schools as being the equivalent of attending police law enforcement standards in Pierre. So they have to take a test to test out of that, just like you would some other classes that you might take in college that you might test out of. Kind of the same thing. They test out of that program, and then they're actually your officer. They're certified by the state. So it can very well shorten the amount of time that they're in training with us.
Wow. I did not realize that if they graduate from a technical school and pass the test, just like teachers and folks like that do, nurses and all of that go into their professions, have to take professional tests. That's awesome. So the cost technically is $10,000 for the scholarship, but what does it cost us if we send a police officer to the academy? Is there, if we would hire a new officer and then have to send them to the academy, is there a cost for us for that, or how does that work?
We're paying their wages while they're up at the academy, so you have that 13 weeks of someone that's not actually working in your department that you're paying. You're also paying their benefits. There is a little bit of a cost, I believe. I don't have it exactly in front of me to tell you for sure, but it's not cheap when you break down everything that you do when you send somebody to peers.
Thank you for that. Other commission questions?
Chief Foot, I appreciate the initiative you took on this project and successfully getting it across the finish line. And I know the employer I work for has had a good track record with this program, so I'm fully in support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. With that, if there's no other questions, what's the pleasure of the commission?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any commission discussion? Anybody in the public? Roll call.
Johnson.
Aye.
Villanueva.
Aye.
Weber.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Brunick.
Aye.
Hanoff.
Aye.
Mayor Mosier.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Chief Foot, for, again, getting creative and thinking outside the box. Now we just got to keep it quiet. Is there a way that we cannot publish that we just did this so none of the other communities will steal our idea? No? Oh, shoot. Transparency. All right. No, we're good with that. I think it's a great idea, and I appreciate you thinking of that. And I'll be excited to hear how it turns out. Yeah. All right. With that, then, that concludes our new business part of the agenda. Moving on to other business. I am not aware of any other business in front of the commission tonight. So with that, I would ask for a motion to adjourn into executive session to discuss contractual and litigation matters under SDCL 1-25-2.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Anybody abstaining? All right, we're adjourned into executive session. Have a great evening, folks.